Welcome back to Leading Blind. Now, I was going to push off another tag for a little bit later down the road, but one of my favorite shows is coming to an end this Friday, and in honor of that show, this is my Once Upon a Time tag. Although, to be honest, I should probably call it my Rumpelstiltskin tag. Well, simply put, I saw advertisements for it on ABC. There's a chance I saw an article about it in a magazine in a waiting room somewhere, but I'm pretty sure I just saw this phenomenal looking trailer, even though it also looked goofy as hell, about a show that seemed like it was a tricked out into the woods. And I was open and ready. I was sold. That was it. Regina Mills, aka the Evil Queen. There's just something about her story arc that was pretty damn good. I like her backstory. I like how she was a complex villain when she was bad, how she was an imperfect hero when she was good, and that her redemption arc came full circle, including the unfortunate development of the quasi-evil twin, Evil Queen. But overall, I think she had one of the strongest arcs out there. Rumpelstiltskin, baby! I love that man, from his kindest to his slimiest. Hades. I thought the man playing the role was horrible. I thought the story arc was horrible. I thought the CGI was horrible. I barely bought into a second of the plot. There were plenty of things that happened in the underworld that I loved. Emma's interaction with Mira, for instance. That was an interesting thing to see happen. How Rumpelstiltskin dealt with her, that was interesting. But I didn't buy into Hades. Not for even a second. I just couldn't get into it. Ingrid. Once again, I liked the story dynamics and what happened around this particular character, but I did not like the character herself. I haven't seen Elizabeth Mitchell in very much, but I didn't fully buy into her until the last season of Lost, and I sure as hell didn't buy into her in Once Upon a Time. There were little aspects I liked of her, but for the most part, I thought it was badly acted, the plot sucked. I just didn't buy into Ingrid at all, and the way she ended up being defeated and the way she ended up going, oh my god, that was just so fucking horrible. I thought that was the worst moment in the show up until that point. It did sink lower, but not by much. That would be Pan. I thought he was intimidating. I thought he made a good contrast for the other quasi-villains or heroes. And they even brought him back last episode for a whole 13 or 14 seconds. They took the young actor who played young Pan and brought him back, and I thought that was kind of cool. I have no idea if he's going to have anything to do with the next and last episode, but hey, to have a recurring villain that I can actually stand to see return to the screen is a good thing. Good thing. Hook and David. They have a very romantic comedy beginning where they hate each other and they don't trust each other and they're always nitpicking at each other and badgering each other. But they really did seem to become really good friends and really trustworthy. And the scene where Hook asks David for his blessing in asking Emma to marry him, that is one of the cutest, sweetest, most endearing scenes for those two. And it was one of the last really good moments It wasn't the last really good moment. It was one of the few good moments in last season. Surprise! It has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with Rumpelstiltskin, except for the fact that he gets married during that scene. Hook and Emma's kiss. It's not their first kiss, but it's certainly one of their first real kisses. When Hook tells Emma that in order to save her and her family, he sold his precious Jolly Roger, that blew me away. I would have kissed him too. That was damn well earned, you know? The hero gets bestowed a kiss and a little bit more, and I would have been right in her seat too. I can't blame her, and it's the most phenomenal kiss in the entire show. Screw all the broken curse kisses. That one was damn well earned, and I felt just as satisfied as I'm sure Emma did. Does this take much thinking about? I already warned you it's going to be Rumpel-centric. I love the Rumpelstiltskin Belle, aka Rumbelle, ship. I also like Outlaw Queen and Captain Swan, but Rumbelle has been where I've been rooting the entire series from episode 11 in season 1, and that's all there is to it. It's kind of over now, but it's never going to be over because their love is true love, and it can't end. That would have to be episode 1, season 1 with Rumpelstiltskin. I just love his entrance. There are some very good ones in the series, but I honestly can't remember too many other than Zelina's big reveal as the Witch of the West. So, considering Rumpelstiltskin's impish, gleeful, psychotic entrance in the dungeon under Prince Charming's castle, or is it Snow White's castle? I suppose it doesn't really matter. It's one of their castles. I just love that moment. It's the best entrance ever. He had my heart and my glee within the first 5 seconds of his entrance. There is nothing to match it. Well, except maybe the answer to the next question. For me, the most badass moment in the series is in the episode Heroes and Villains, when Belle, who up until that point and ever afterwards, to a certain degree, was mainly a doormat in spite of all her ingenuity and brains. She banished Rumpelstiltskin from Storybook, and it was a coup for her character. I mean, you can't get any better than that, standing up for yourself and everyone else and putting someone in their place. Just because I love the character of Rumpelstiltskin doesn't mean I think he was never wrong. Season 6, Episode 20, Song in Your Heart. Now, there's a reason I found this to be my funniest moment, and it has nothing to do with how funny the scene was in general. It would get a chuckle out of just about anybody, but for me it was hilarious. That was once his longed-for musical episode, one I was hoping to see too. So when I found out it was finally coming, I looked up a lot of the main actors to see if they could actually sing. And I found out that Robert Carlyle could kind of sing. He wasn't phenomenal, but he'd be able to carry most tunes. He was a folk singer. And I already knew from background videos that they tried to suit the song to the singer's voice style. So I was really looking forward to hearing Rumpelstiltskin sing a song. But I kind of forgot that the Dark One is impervious to curses and spells. So when Regina tells him to sing and he pulls his "Sorry, dearie, do you think the Dark One sings?" after this flourish as if he's about to break out into song, I was so let down, and I laughed so hard at the same time. It was definitely the funniest moment because Rumple got to smack me in the face for a change. Well, let's face it, he does that to everybody, including me 100,000 times over, but that one was unexpected. Episode 22 of Season 1, A Land Without Magic. Rumpelstiltskin's reunion with Belle. To be honest with you guys, I don't even much like Robert Carlyle as an actor outside of his role as Rumpelstiltskin/Gold. He's just never impressed me. This role seems to be the one he was flat out born to play, though, and what he does in that scene when he sees what he probably at first thinks is just a ghost or a figment of his strained imagination, the shock and the horror and then the relief and the momentary joy, even though his reaction a tiny bit later seems off, that scene in his pawn shop, I've worn my DVD player out. I can't even watch that scene anymore on my DVD because I love it so much. Episode 4 of Season 1, The Price of Gold. The show hadn't formed its formula yet, or at least the audience wasn't privy to it just yet. So to see the beginning of the Cinderella story, and you know a twist is coming because you've gotten that much already, but you don't expect this fairy to suddenly explode into fairy dust, essentially. Rumpelstiltskin's entrance in that particular episode was quite good as well. So to see a fairy blow up, to just get blown up by the villain, no warning, just shot you in the back, you're gone, that was pretty damn startling. Episode 4 of Season 1, The Price of Gold. The show hadn't formed its formula yet, or at least the audience wasn't privy to it just yet. So to see the beginning of the Cinderella story, and you know a twist is coming because you've gotten that much already, but you don't expect this fairy to suddenly explode into fairy dust, essentially. Rumpelstiltskin's entrance in that particular episode was quite good as well. So to see a fairy blow up, to just get blown up by the villain, no warning, just shot you in the back, you're gone, that was pretty damn startling. Season 3, Episode 11, Going Home, which I believe was the mid-season finale. When Rumpelstiltskin gets his first moment of real retribution and he kills Pan. But in order to kill Pan, his father, he has to take himself out too. I don't even know why exactly he had to do that, but he was willing to do that to save the people he cared about. His girlfriend, his grandson, his son. That one left me in tears, and I was afraid for a moment that the show would be brave enough to leave him dead. Because, of course, they'd been going on about how the one thing magic couldn't do was revive the dead. Well, they cheated later on, and I've never been happier for a show breaking the rules before. Never. But in that moment, I couldn't think of a better character death, as sad as it was. And I'm getting a little choked up just thinking about it. I keep thinking of Rumpel's quote of, "I'm a villain, and villains don't get happy endings," and how accepting he was of that. I love the Evil Queen's general look, even though it changes subtly. There is a main outfit she tends to wear most. And in Skin Deep, she wears a gorgeous red outfit with a hat. But oddly enough, for some reason, and I can't even explain why. A few years ago, I dressed up as Rumpelstiltskin for Halloween, like a feminine version of Rumpelstiltskin, and I wore a costume from the episode Skin Deep of a mustardy yellow gold type blouse with a red colored vest. It looked very different in the TV show. It was slightly more brown. It was paisley, but it was still red. And for some reason, I really love that outfit. And it's funny, it's the most subdued of any of the Dark One's outfits. You know, not Mr. Gold, not Rumpelstiltskin when he was a peasant, but just Rumpelstiltskin's rock star outfits. This one I love. I have no reason or rhyme to it. I just love that one. Now, it stands to reason that overall I love Rumpelstiltskin's backstory the most, but I think when I imagine backstory, for some reason the Miller's daughter sticks out to me, and it's not because it's Cora's backstory, it's because of that part of Rumpel's backstory. I mean, their first scene together where he's getting ready to teach her how to use magic, and it just turns into this really dark seduction. I was like, that relationship was born out of a fucked up place. And I like it. All magic comes with a price. And it was a brief flicker of light amidst an ocean of darkness. That's the thing about true love, dearie. It can slip through your fingers. I would want the set. I would want Rumpelstiltskin dagger and Belle's chipped cup. Other than Neil, because I loved Neil. By the way, that doesn't mean I don't accept Emma Swan and Hook, because I love them together more than I liked her and Neil together. I just loved Neil. I think we need to see more of Ruby. We should have seen more of Ruby. Snow White partially became a background character, if you ask me, because they didn't work on her relationship with Ruby and her friendship with Ruby. Glad Red is getting her happy ending with Dorothy Gale, but we still need to see more of her, and we still need to see more of that storyline between them. We needed to see it in the present day, not just these little thrown in bits that felt completely fake. Too little too late because, last episode this Friday. But who the hell is Lily's father? Emma promised she would help find out, and we haven't seen that answer yet. So let's hope they might throw that in as a throwaway line in the last episode. Because unless the male dragon, the only male dragon we see through the course of the series is her father, which they didn't explicitly state to my knowledge, they haven't answered it. Emma promised to help her find out, and then they just forgot Lily and Maleficent existed. Maybe that's because they were a less appreciated storyline and subplot that the audience wanted to get rid of, so they obeyed, but they should have at least finished it. You know? So there you go. Those are my once upon a time answers for my once upon a time Rumpel-centric tag. In the future, I plan on doing a Shirley Temple retrospective. There is a Nelson Eddy retrospective coming out very soon. I still intend on doing the horror tag and the book tag and an Audrey Rose review, but I've been having a lot of troubles with my camera, coping with my editor, and my laptop apparently wasn't even made for making videos, barely made for searching the web or using a document program, which is not what I told them I wanted when I went to buy my fucking laptop, but there it is. So please be patient with me. It might take a long time for me to put videos up. It might take a long time for me to get this one up. But please be patient with me. You will see more videos, and I promise my channel's not dead. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you next time.